This sport was at its zenith some 20 years ago. And it was predominantly a Californian phenomenon that very briefly spread around the world. This man was at his zenith some 20 years ago. And in a room this small on the southern tip of Africa, everybody unanimously says the same name. That's astonishing. Now I'll go one further for you. No industry, no name, no face. Who's that? Nigella Lawson. Did you recognize her by her cherries? Nigella Lawson. Now let's ask the same about Nigella Lawson. Would you say she is the world's most qualified chef? Okay. Do you think she's in the top 10 of the world's most technically qualified chefs? So why is she out-earning that group combined? There's something going on here that Clarkson does, that Branson does, that the top icons do differently, and they are not necessarily the most academically qualified people in their worlds. When you become known in an industry, you arrive to find the doors already open. Let me explain what I mean by that one. The first time I submitted a book manuscript to a publisher, has anyone here ever written a book and sent it to a publisher? It's the most ice-cold, formal, awful process. There is no humanity in it, there is no charm in it, it is glacial. And that's done on purpose because they try and keep your hopes low. So what happens is, you send off your query letter, you say, hi, this is who I am, this is what I know, may I write a book for you? And you get back this super formal ice-cold response that says, please send through a synopsis and a sample chapter, please don't hold your breath. If you haven't heard from us in the next 10 years, please move on with your life. So you put everything together and you pour your heart and soul into it and you send it off to the publisher, and a few weeks later, when you've forgotten that you've done so, you receive another very cold, very formal email back saying, thank you for your synopsis. Please send through the following chapters. Please don't hold your breath. If you haven't heard from us in 10 years, please move on with your life. And so it goes until, if you're fortunate and you persevere, one day they actually say yes and publish your book. And I can remember vividly this grueling emotional process of dealing with that level of formality until we published the first book with Penguin. We're now up to number 7, and here's how it's changed, how the dynamic and the relationship has changed. The last one, I sent a little email saying, hi Ronell, this is the idea for the next book, what do you think? 5 minutes later, hi Doug, sounds good, we'll publish it in February. Done. That's it. All of those obstacles, all of those barriers, the formalities, the rules, the processes, they disappear when you have built up that credibility. If you are Elon Musk, you don't ask if you can speak at the Innovation Summit, they build it around you. It's very different. Folks, as you sit here tonight, what door stands between you and the thing you're most eager to achieve? What is that one barrier, that obstacle that you just can't seem to get past? Expert positioning is a surprisingly powerful key for these kinds of doors. When you become the recognized industry icon, you arrive to find the door already open. So those are some of the reasons why it's worth your while to bother with this process. Now, how do we actually go about doing it? What does it entail? Well, after writing 2 books on the topic and studying it for some 10 years, I've come to believe quite deeply that experts exist at the intersection of 3 qualities. And you have to have all 3 working together, or you disqualify yourself as a top-level expert. Now, take a look at the screen there. The one on the left-hand side is the most obvious one. It's the one we always think of as a gut reaction when we think experts. What do you reckon that is? Knowledge. Yes, you've got to have the knowledge. But clearly that's not sufficient all by itself. And also clearly there are people who have more knowledge than the top-level icons, but are not the top-level icons themselves. So there's something else going on there. What is the photo on top? That's Clarkson and Lawson. What do you reckon that is? Let me sum it up in one word. Charisma? What else? Give us a couple of words on that. Appeal? Okay, being a diva, yes, fair enough, yeah. Personality. Okay, let's sum all of those ideas up, charisma, the sexiness, the humor, the whatever, under the word personality. Personality actually matters greatly for industry icons. And the final one is the publicity. If you have the knowledge and the personality, but no one ever sees or hears you, you are disqualified as an expert. Perhaps the two most fascinating ones is this creative tension between the knowledge and the personality. The way I like to explain it is like this. To become the top icon, you cannot be the industry professor and you cannot be the industry rock star. You've got to be somewhere in between. You need elements of the professor and you need elements of the rock star working together. The knowledge is necessary, but it's only entrance into the game. You can outperform people who are more technically qualified than you, who have more academic qualifications than you. Branson didn't finish school, and yet we talk about the Branson of business. So on the one hand, you've got to have sufficient knowledge to get in, but you can't be all knowledge. The professor becomes a little too boring to be the industry icon. Now we can go to the other side where it's the rock star, where it's all flair, where it's all fizz, where it's all sizzle, but no substance. And there's no longevity to that, because eventually people see through the showmanship and realize there's no substance there. So somewhere between the rock star and the professor is the valid, genuine industry icon. The way I like to think about it is this. If you have all of the knowledge in the world but no personality, you are a specialist. And if you have all the personality in the world but no knowledge, you are a Kardashian. Knowledge, personality, publicity. You must have all three working together. That's the heart and soul of the thing. Everything after that is really just activating those ideas.